Alright, let me go ahead and update the stream text. And then pull up the quest. Okay, where do I start the stuff for, where do I start the quest for Abyssos? Okay, Claudien is the guy, yeah, Claudien is the guy there in the lab. So let's go ahead and teleport over there. That should be Aporia, right? Yes. Yep, that's right. Right over here. So I actually didn't show on stream, but there was another blue quest here that I aimed to unlock the savage version of the previous one. What's it called? I keep on forgetting what it's called. Asphydelis, that's right. Alright, let's head on over to Claudien and start this abyss. Let's start Pandæmonium Abyssos. Oh, that's creepy. An unwelcome visitor. Claudien's eyes are brimming with the excitement of discovery. Brilliant! I've made a breakthrough! After uncountable days and nights, I finally hearkened to the crystal's whispers, and I must say... Professor Claudien, where are your manners? While I understand all too well your enthusiasm, I must remind you that even the most academically inclined prefer a composed recounting of events. Yes, of course. My apologies, Brilliant. Being consumed by my research for so long, I'm afraid I have quite forgotten how to engage in civilized conversation. You and me both. Ahem. In that case, perhaps we should start from the beginning. With the crystals set adrift upon the ethereal tides, containing the memories of a party yet unknown. They cried out for deliverance from Pandæmonium, where the ancients kept volatile creatures under lock and key. You yourself witnessed the power devouring the facility from within, and the advent of a divine monstrosity wrought of a mystic beast and powerful mage. Fortunately, your martial prowess and combined magical talents of your companions, Themis and Eric, are sufficient to restore order to the circles of Asphydelis, but the greater threat remains. In the depths of Pandæmonium, a presence yet stirs, its intentions and identity shrouded in mystery. That is the issue at hand, is it not? A bit overdramatic, but a decent retelling. Since you returned to us, we worked tirelessly to discern the nature of the crystal. In the process, I detected an anomalous etheric signature, which I believe arose from the memories stored within. Analysis of this pattern suggested a feeling of loss or yearning, specifically, the yearning to be made whole. And indeed, ambient readings have revealed a faint but identical signature. This can only mean that another such crystal exists in our time. Oh, that's interesting. Unless it's the Azem crystal that we have. So, my friend, I must depart to search for it forthwith. By tracing the matching etheric signatures to its source, I believe it will be a simple matter to find our crystal's twin. Oh wait, no, the crystal was like a greenish blue crystal, if I remember correctly. Professor, will this expedition be carried out only by us? Or will Brilliant grace us with her protection? Oh no, you guys go on your own. I'm afraid she has more pressing matters to attend to, my dear Rusian Nod. Namely, to seek out the secrets which lie nestled within Pandæmonium, where this all began. From all that we have heard, it appears that time traversal from the Crystal Tower is not fluid. That is to say, one can travel in predetermined intervals. It would be prudent to check in on occasion in case there are any unanticipated changes. So basically he's saying go back and check. Maybe something changed. As for you, my loyal assistants, I would ask you remain here and continue cataloging the ancient creations. can't mean. Do you intend to search for the crystal on your own? Why, yes, that would be the most efficient use of resources, would it not? In fact, I've already commissioned a ship and pilot for that very purpose. I trust you to take good care of the laboratory in my absence. This does not seem like the best course of action. I apologize for the somewhat abrupt departure. When progress is in sight, Professor Claudien tends to become blind to all else. Indeed, and he has been worse than usual. While I cannot fault him for his excitement, I do wish he would spare a thought for those around him. For reasons unknown, the crystal seems loath to be overheard, much as it spoke only to you last time. None but the professor here has been able to capture its ethereal yearning, which has served only to convince him that he can solve this puzzle on his own. Surely, after some time alone, he'll come to remember how valuable we were. The search for this crystal seemed to be simple enough matter. Let him have his adventure, and upon his return, I'm certain he'll be back to his usual self. As for you, Brillian, it may be best to return to Pandæmonium, as Professor Claudien suggested. Speaking of which, I did have a request of my own to make. Traveling to Pandæmonium requires you to pass through Abyssos, correct? There is something I would have you investigate in my stead. While those creations confined within Pandæmonium are considered to be failures, I doubt that's their whole story. Barring exceptional cases, they must have been under observation in Abyssos before being consigned to their shackles. And if we know anything about the ancients, it's that they would have kept thorough records of the results. A good point. Ah, brilliant. Delving into these records may shed light on creatures Brillian has yet to encounter. If your theory proves correct, that is. While there is no guarantee, it certainly beats the current strategy of rushing forward blindly with only her strength to carry the day. I don't see the issue with this. For your own sake, as well as ours, please unearth what information you can. Okay, sounds good to me. Well then, let's head back on over to, let's head over to Abyssos and see what's in store for us there. Let's see, need to go to the world unsundered, right? Yeah, and then let's go to, I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Nope, looks like there's probably a hunt tree in here. Or not, whatever. Let's see, we need to head this direction. There's so many side quests here to do eventually. I might do those eventually, but there's a lot more stuff to do before I get to that. Let's see. Ah, there's Thermos. Ah, I did not expect to meet you here, of all places. You seek records of Pandæmonium's creation? Master Themis has just finished perusing the very same. I should not be surprised that we both arrived at the same conclusion. Luckily, I've saved you the trouble and gleaned what information I could. Ah, so you know each other. I was dreading having to once again scour the archives, but perhaps instead I'll rest for a spell. If there's nothing else, I shall take my leave. As should we. For I have undone the warding sigil blocking the entrance to Abyssos. I came here merely to chase an idle speculation while awaiting your return. Fortunately, while Pandæmonium's protective wards continue to be assailed by our unknown foe, there have been no fluctuations so great as to make me doubt Eric's capacity to keep watch over Asphodelos while I'm away. He works diligently to master interment, that he might deliver the creations back to their cages by his own hand. I thought it best to give him time to hone his craft. And since fate has brought us both here, I would ask you to accompany me while I attend to another matter. More idle suspicions that I would like to chase down. Rest assured, it shall not take long. I simply have a few questions to ask an acquaintance of mine. Come. He's agreed to meet us near the Neas to Pandæmonium. Okay. Sounds good to me. Let's go and take a shortcut, teleport to Agnorosis. Is that how you say it? Agnagnoris, sure. Completely wrong. Well, let's head on back over to Pandæmonium. It's been quite a while. It's kind of annoying getting Wondrous Tales with like P9 or P10N where I can't do. But occasionally it is P1 through 4N, and then I can get that done. Let's see, is this where we're going? Yeah, that's right. Okay, Themis, where's your friend? As I've pondered our expedition into Pandæmonium, I could not help but be mystified by how strongly the warders we encountered felt for La Abrea, whether it be for good or ill. Asperos and Eric were two sides of the same coin. The former looked to his mentor with absolute devotion, while the latter looked to his father with bald hatred. I would not expect a familiar such as you to understand this, but such extreme emotions toward a single individual are quite rare indeed. Naturally, I feel gratitude toward my mother and father, yet we are all equals in the larger picture of the star. This view is not unique to myself. It is more or less accepted as the way of things. By contrast, the researchers of Pandæmonium seem to view La Abrea with a feeling approaching obsession. Oh, that's an understatement. Whether driven by love or hate, they have all been drawn to him. There were many other aspects of the facility's particulars I found troubling besides. I decided the best course of action would be to go straight to the source and pose my questions to a member of the Words of La Abrea. Well, that's not a bad idea. Oh yeah, didn't we meet this guy last time? My apologies to keep you waiting, Master Thermus. Themis, there's no R. I understand you are conducting an investigation of Pandæmonium and wish to know of its origins. Indeed. In particular, I wish to know why exactly Pandæmonium was built directly under Abyssos. The facility is overseen by the Words of La Abrea, after all. Why keep it so close to Abyssos, whose governing body is no say in its day-to-day operations? Yeah, that's controlled by Fandaniel. At first, I thought it to be simply a matter of convenience. Those creations, which we deemed failures by researchers of Abyssos, could be easily ushered into their new home. Imagine my surprise when a trip to the archives revealed that many of the creations were sent from organizations beyond Abyssos, including from the Words of La Abrea themselves. Given this, albeit limited information, I cannot but feel that the Academia Anider would have been a more fitting locale. What does Abyssos have that cannot be found here, or there? These are fitting questions, and ones we have asked ourselves many times in recent years. Alas, the nature of Pandæmonium's construction does not lend itself to relocation. When first it was built, circumstances weren't as they are now. As you surmised, the majority of creations kept within Pandæmonium were sent from Abyssos. Yet, as the years passed, interests changed. Failures in creations deemed too flawed even to submit to Abyssos paradoxically drew the attention of Pandæmonium researchers. That is quite the change, and in fact, it almost runs counter to the facility's original purpose. Who is it that decides which creations will be subject of research? Master La Abrea. Such authority is revered for the chief keyword, and he has taken it upon himself to step into that role. So if Pandæmonium's resources were being misused, it would be under La Abrea's authority, correct? Interesting. I know not what you are suggesting, but the key wards also hold some sway within the facility. Not even Master La Abrea would be free from their scrutiny. They are duty-bound to report any irregularities as soon as possible, except for the ones that are happening right now that you have no knowledge about. Although, I admit as of late, their communication has been somewhat sporadic. We but recently received a report from one of the key wards stating that all is well within Pandæmonium's halls. Yeah. Really? And you're certain that a key ward sent it? Yes, of course. Our communications suffered a temporary obstruction, but I can assure you that the wards did their due diligence in confirming the identity of the sender. Oh, and who might that be? Thank you. This information will be helpful in my investigation. That will be all for my prying. Then I shall take my leave. While you are not yet permitted to conduct your investigation freely, I must remind you that the warder's work is delicate, and I would be remiss to disturb them for any longer than necessary. Sure, bro. All is well. A blatant lie, and to that we can both attest. One of the remaining key wards is most certainly in league with the party behind this. Let us hurry. I know not why our adversary sent that report, but 'tis plain that we must return to Pandæmonium with haste. Okay, sounds good to me. Let's head on over there. I believe this leg has Scream. I think the third and fourth one have Scream, so that'll be fun to do. I cannot guess as to why this false report has arisen now, but it certainly bodes ill. As does the knowledge of our mysterious mastermind has at least one more key ward to puppet. Regardless, they've tipped their hand, and we would be remiss to leave Eric at the mercy of their machinations. Let us hope no harm has befallen him. Okay. Oh, there's Eric. Oh, no, we still can't get it. Not quite. I've traced these sigils countless times, yet still I lack the strength to maintain the spell. And now time works against me. I can no longer be victim to my own ineptitude. What? Who goes there? That's creepy. Hehe, there's something to be admired in such single-minded effort, even if your methods leaves much to be desired. You allowed this familiar to catch you unawares. Have you set your sights so high as to forget you walk upon the earth? I know this creature. A familiar of the Phoenix, but that monster is locked away. That it is, in spite of the trouble I went in freeing it, I might add. Begrudge me for addressing you in this ill-fitting form, if you must, but with control of Asphodelis wrestled from my grasp, 'tis simply the best I can offer you. Hide if you will, but mark my words. I will find you, and make you pay for the chaos you have sown. Now, there's no need for such hostility. A calm heart stays the course. The wisdom of La Habrea, your father. And how would you know that what wisdom he speaks? I've heard those words many times. The scolding of a tutor whose student's struggling to grasp the most rudimentary lessons, seething with disgust. No. I've not told that to anyone, not even keyword Hesperos. That can only mean one thing. That still you insist on mocking me. Stop this farce, La Habrea. At last, you move to keep up. Pity that you remain behind, nevertheless. It's not La Habrea, is it? What? As ever you are, always you fail to learn, fail to understand, fail to act. And though fate deigned to offer an escape, you remain here. You are bereft of magical prowess and common sense both. But you need not despair. Dull though you may be, you are yet indispensable to Pandæmonium's greatest experiment. There's the affection I remember. Tell me, did I ever once measure up to your expectations? You shall. Take pride in that, and rejoice to see your wish fulfilled. What? What wish? Come, and all shall be revealed. All this rage, this hatred, is but a consequence of ignorance. Our desires align more than you know. What are you... Uninvited guests join our reunion. It seems fortune no longer favors you. Do you think I have any interest in listening to you prattle, let alone bowing to your will? I'm no longer a child, and my faith lies in those who have earned it. So these are the heroes who brought Hesperos low. Even his power divine flowed through his veins. 'Tis plain they are worthier subjects to contend with. I don't feel like this is La Habrea. But I mean, we'll see. Talk to Themis and then Eric. Just what was that familiar after? Thank you. If you had shown up even a moment later, I shudder to think what would have become of me. There's something I must tell you. I know who's behind this. There's but one person who can hold a thrall over familiar, creation, and keyword alike. Are you sure about that?